Deep Threat Sports Network, Foul 'em Hard is back. You have Garrett and myself tonight as usual. Hey, we told you we'd be here on Monday night getting this out to you on a Tuesday, and we are here. Garrett, the time has come. The wait is over. We are finally here. March Madness is here. The casuals are out. It's a spooky night. The casuals are out here talking like they know what they're talking about, but we want them to tune in right here along with the diehards to really figure out what's going on in March Madness, and I am fired up. Garrett, I know you have tons to say. Going to keep this intro real brief. We want to bring nothing but game talk to you guys tonight on this episode. But real quick, I just want to congratulate all the teams that made it. We have some first-timers in the tournament this go-round. SIUE, High Point, Omaha, UC San Diego. Exciting stuff for those programs to finally get in here and get a crack at the tournament. And also, hey, 86th NCAA tournament. This has been going on since 1939. Some would argue the best sporting event in all of college sports, in all of sports, really. And I'm not going to push back on that. This is the best time of the year. Garrett, I know you're fired up. Are the juices flowing?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Colin, this is why we do these podcasts every week. It's leading up to this moment. All these regular season games that they obviously mean a lot, but it's a fresh restart for every team in this tournament. It doesn't matter what you did leading up to this. Doesn't matter what you did in conference play in your conference tournament. This is the time people care about. If you win, 30 games in the regular season and get bounced in the second round, your season is forgotten. This is where teams are made, moments are made. What a time. I love this tournament. I think it's the greatest sporting event there is. If you have to disagree with me, I will fight you tooth and nail to the end. I don't think there's anything better.
There is nothing better than this, man. I'm with you on this. This is what we've been waiting for. The time has finally come, and I cannot wait to dissect this bracket with you, Garrett. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of different picks here, and that's really what it's all about. But first, I know you have a lot to say, Garrett, about the snub of Indiana and West Virginia and how the beloved North Carolina Tar Heels find their way into this tournament. Make some sense of this for me, Garrett.
I'm going to try to without losing my mind. I mean, I've had, about 24 hours to sit on it, and it's not getting easier. It's really not. And obviously, I'm going to defend my Hoosiers more than I'm going to defend West Virginia, but I'm going to make something clear right off the start. West Virginia was more deserving to make this tournament than any first four team that is playing in these playing games. They're much more deserving than Indiana. They were projected. This is the first time this has happened in the history of this tournament. They were projected out of 111 experts who choose these brackets. They were in all 111. West Virginia was. The first time ever a team that has been projected to make the tournament by every expert has missed the tournament. They have wins over Kansas at Allen Fieldhouse, Gonzaga, Iowa State, Arizona State. That's just four off the bat. 4 wins better than any singular win the North Carolina Tar Heels have, the Xavier Musketeers have. I mean, all these playing teams, the only one that I can understand is Texas. But here's the problem. And Colin, I don't think half of what has already come out is going to tell the tale of this absolute blunder of what happened on Selection Sunday. We learned that Bubba Cunningham, the chair of the Selection Sunday show and the tournament committee, is North Carolina's athletic director. I typically wouldn't get this fired up if my team wasn't one of the teams left out. 2 questions for you, and I'm going to seriously let you answer them before I continue this rant. 1, how is an athletic director of any university, I don't care if it's SIUE, SLU, UNC, how are they even a part of the selection committee?
So, Garrett, I think what goes into a lot of this is, and just kind of relating this to college football world, you see a lot of these conference commissioners, conference directors, whatever the verbiage is you want to use for these guys. A lot of these guys do sit in on the chair, and a lot of these guys do weigh in. And the proper format of all this is when they're talking about their team, they're supposed to step out and not be a part of the discussion. But let's be honest, Garrett. Okay, let's say I'm a part of the committee for the college tournament, NCAA tournament, I should say, and you're there and you're a part of it too, but you're there for Indiana and I'm there for Mizzou. Well, Garrett, let's be realistic, man. We're buddies. If you're for Indiana and I'm for Mizzou, even though you walk out of the room, don't think I'm not already just automatically pulling for you, right? Some of these guys are going to have interconnections. Some of these guys go out to eat. Some of these guys hang out in the off season. I mean, really, what goes into it is it's kind of the buddy system. And I never actually for a minute, Garrett, truly thought that North Carolina wasn't going to get in. Where they did, absolutely not. There's no discussion that this team is not deserving of getting in, or they are not deserving to get in, I should say. And it just felt like they were going to get in. They're the blue blood. They're a household name. Did we really think for a minute that they were going to be left out? And then you flip the script and talk about the head guy is from North Carolina. Man, this was a no brainer. If they would have led with that information, all 111 experts or 113 experts that fill these things out and put these teams in would have had North Carolina in.
Well, and the thing that really aggravates me the most about this is one, he has the audacity to defend his team getting in the tournament. He makes a statement when he was asked about why Indiana and West Virginia were not in this tournament. It's because of their quad one loss column. Do you understand that North Carolina went 1-12 against quad one opponents? And let me say something, Colin. There's different types of quad one opponents, okay? There is playing a Wake Forest on the road who is 49th in the net and technically qualifies for quad one. And then there's going on the road and playing Purdue. Obviously, North Carolina plays Duke twice a year, once at home, once on the road. They still only found one quad win in the weakest conference college basketball has seen in a long time. Not to mention he made a $105,000 bonus on his team making the tournament. There's just so many wrongs that don't even come close to making it right. And obviously, I'm trying really hard to advocate for Indiana. I said this before. West Virginia was far more deserving of any of the first four teams that made this tournament. The fact that they missed out is a disgrace to college basketball. It really is. It ruins the fun of this tournament for me, knowing that the four teams that they put in this playing game, 2 or 3 of them did not deserve this.
Well, what's crazy to me too, Garrett, is a little bit, you talk about how UNC was 1-12 or 1-13 in quad one. Depends where you look, but either way, horrible. And then to flip it a little bit, because you're giving some Indiana love, and I rightfully so, I'm going to give a little bit of some West Virginia love. They go 6-10 in quad one, and then North Carolina and Bubba talked about how they were undefeated in quad two. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit about quad two games? Unless you're losing them at a rapid rate, who cares? And then they want to go and talk about how West Virginia maybe didn't make it because Tucker DeVry's been out and not going to play in the tournament. Dude, he's been out since December 6th. Like, West Virginia has done, 75-80% of their season without him. They've won most of these games without him. Miss me with that bullshit. I mean, why aren't we knocking Duke and Cooper Flag? Why aren't we knocking Iowa State at a 3 seed without Keyshawn Gilbert? Why are we not knocking Memphis some more without Tyrese Hunter? I mean, really, if we're going to – I am all about consistency. If you want to make that your case, I'm about it. But be consistent across the board with everybody else. And I'll sit here and talk about it with Mizzou. Why did they – I never thought they were going to get a 6 seed, and they go in and get a 6 seed, and Mark Mitchell's not playing maybe. So, why aren't we holding them more accountable with an injury? So it's one of those deals where they grasp at straws. They know this team shouldn't have been in. And whenever you get in front of a press conference or a microphone and they're asking you questions, you are literally grasping at straws, trying to find anything you can to use it as an excuse, to use it as a buyout. It's a crock of shit. North Carolina shouldn't be in. But like I said, Garrett, never in a million years did I think North Carolina wouldn't get in just because of their name.
Well, and it's a lot of the thing that's unfortunate, Colin. There's two things I'm going to add here. One, just to piggyback off of what you said about, did you ever really think they weren't going to make the tournament? Yes and no. I mean, I understand the TV draw that North Carolina brings. Believe me, that goes into consideration. There's going to be more teams tune in to a North Carolina San Diego State playing game than a San Diego State West Virginia. There just is. Just name brand. That doesn't matter to me. If you didn't qualify for this tournament, why are you in it? Here's another thing that bothers me, Colin. I think this tournament in particular, and obviously we haven't seen a lot of the college football playoff, especially since they expanded it. It seems year after year, they base these last four teams off of different criteria. Some years it's wins. Who has more wins? Well, this team has 21. This team has 16. Then they look at quad tiers. Okay, this team has so many quad one wins. This team has this many. there's no consistency. I think back to a few years ago when NC State was on the bubble with 23 wins because they had one quad one win. And they missed out on the tournament, even though they had 7 more wins than, whoever they were battling against. At what point are you going to quit? At what point are teams going to quit scheduling these Maui Invitationals or these very difficult non-conference games because you risk putting a loss on your schedule? I think back to when Indiana played in the battle for Atlantis. They get matched up and get destroyed by Louisville and Gonzaga. 2 losses that if they just would have scheduled a High Point, an SIUE, there's 2 wins on your resume. All of a sudden, you go from 19 wins to 21 win Big Ten team. They're not keeping you out. They just aren't. So that's the worry that I have with how they just based this Carolina theory in this tournament is you're forcing teams to say, why risk that loss when I could just play a cupcake in the non-conference and rack up wins?
Hey man, I totally get it. It's extremely frustrating, and you see this. This is honestly for me, Garrett, why this tournament should not expand. This is a prime example that North Carolina really shouldn't be in. There's no way in the world should they ever be in. So we don't need to expand to allow teams like them to be in, even though clearly they found their way this year and they definitely shouldn't have. Extremely frustrating. I don't think North Carolina players themselves thought they were getting in. It looked like they were a little shocked whenever it kind of reverted back to them at their watch party, and it was just really, really bad. It was really shocking to me that this happened. Like I said, to your point, it wasn't. It wasn't. I never thought they would be out, but I was actually really shocked they went ahead and did it. Right. This is almost like for me. I was sitting back watching, and it was almost like when they left Alabama out of the college football playoff. It was so I kind of had that courage, like maybe we're righting the ship. Maybe we're getting this right. Maybe we are putting the deserving teams in. And little let down with this, little disappointed. But I don't have anything else to add with this unless you do. It's just, what do you do, man? Like what do you do? We're still pumped up for this. We got to fill out a bracket and we got to move on. I mean, the juices are still flowing. It's just a crock of shit that we're going to have to watch North Carolina play.
Well, and that's exactly where I was going to go with this, Colin. What do you do? There's nothing. It does not matter year after year after year for 60, however many years this tournament has been going on. It doesn't really matter what 4 teams make it, what 4 teams don't. There's controversy every time, which is why this tournament's great. There's 68 teams in this field, and I'm getting really aggravated that Indiana was the 60 or the 70th and left out. Did they have a chance to win this tournament? No. But do I like to complain? Yes. This tournament still rocks. This tournament is incredible. I can't wait to fill out a bracket. It's going to be awesome.
Hey, we have to complain. That's what we're here for. We're here to address the controversy. We would address this controversy if you weren't an Indiana fan. We would still address this and bring it to light that, hey, this is bullshit. And if you missed out on this part and you're tuning into us for the first time, just know that we're going to lay it all out there. We're going to lay out our thoughts, our opinions, and we think they got it wrong. But to your point, Garrett, we're still going to fill this bracket out. We're still going to fill this bracket out on this show. And this is not the end of the controversy for you and I in this episode. I can guarantee you that. So enough of the negativity. I wish I had a voice like Bruce Buffer because it's time, baby. We're going to get this thing going, and we're going to kick it off. We're going to go game by game. Follow us here a little bit because I'm sure mine and Garrett's picks are going to be different. Garrett, lead this thing off real quick. Is there any chance in hell that Auburn does not win their first round matchup against Auburn State or St. Francis?
Nope, it is going to be Auburn, and it won't even be close. So I'm
Auburn by a million. Auburn by a million for both of us. Moving down to the next line, we have Louisville, Creighton. And real quick, everybody out there, when you guys see me look down, Garrett and I decided that we were going to fill out brackets just for this show. We're going to keep track of them and follow along with you and kind of give updates as the tournament goes on. So if you see me look down, I'm filling my bracket out as we go for this show. Garrett, Louisville, Creighton, who you got in the 8-9 matchup?
Colin, I've gone back and forth with this game like crazy. One, I do want to point out, I think Louisville being an 8 seed is almost disgraceful. I think they are so much more deserving of maybe more of like a 6-7 seed. I think 7 at the lowest, or I'm sorry, the highest seed. But they find themselves at an 8 with a really interesting matchup. I love Louisville's ability to shoot the 3, but I love Stephen Ashworth and Kalkbrenner. I'm going to stick with my guns out of the ACC. I think the ACC is going to surprise some people in this tournament. I'm going to take Louisville.
Louisville, kind of a home game atmosphere type like for them in this one. That's kind of a good draw for them, I guess you could say. But Garrett, I'm going to go on the flip side of this. Let's make it interesting on game 2 already. I'm going to roll with Creighton. I think the Blue Jays with Kalkbrenner and Ashworth, I think they can find a way. I think Louisville is kind of – I agree with you. 8 was not a good seed for them. I think they should have been better. But I also kind of like the direction this Creighton team's going here at the end of things. And Creighton is my kryptonite, though, so don't put a whole lot into this one. But I'm going to take the Creighton – Creighton here. I about said the wrong team name for them for a second. I was looking down. Moving on to the next game, we have Michigan at UC San Diego. Garrett, I'm going to make this interesting already. I still don't think Michigan's all that good. I know I might be an outlier on this, but I'm still not sold on this Michigan Wolverines team. And maybe it's because every time I put money on them or against them, I lose the bet. So I'm going to do it again. Give me UC San Diego with an upset right out of the gate. 30-win basketball team, good program. I think they find a way.
I'm right there with you. I'm not even going to argue it. This is an interesting matchup. I had a buddy of mine. He said something funny. He goes, the committee absolutely did this matchup on purpose. You have the team who turns the ball over, one of the most in the country in Michigan, and the team of UC San Diego. Is that right? UC San Diego? That's right. Forcing the most turnovers in the country. Who can protect the ball? Who can force the turnovers? I'll always take the team that can force the turnovers. Give me UC San Diego.
Hey, let's go. That's a hell of a pick from both of us on the 12-5 already to agree on the first 12-5. Thought that would be rare here. The next game we have Texas A&M out of the SEC and Yale. Garrett, is there any chance Yale can get this done against A&M here?
Yeah, I've gone back and forth on this a lot. The Ivy League always makes noise in this tournament, but I think the guard depth of A&M is just going to be too much. I think Wade Taylor and Coleman are just too much for this Yale team to keep up with. I'm going to take A&M.
Yep, give me A&M in this one as well. No debate for me. The next game we have Ole Miss against the play-in team winner of San Diego State, North Carolina. And honestly, that play-in game will be a damn good game. I know we just dogged on North Carolina a little bit. We didn't dog on San Diego State enough because we should have dogged on them too a little bit for getting in there. Another team I don't think deserves it over some teams, but a hell of a play-in game there. But I think Ole Miss finds a way against either one of these teams that they match up against.
If UNC wins this play-in game, I'm taking UNC. And here's the reason. I know I just dogged on it for 10 straight minutes, but every time, Collin, every time a team has been criticized for making the tournament, they make a run. Every time. If UNC wins this play-in game, I'm taking them. If they lose, I'm taking Ole Miss. In this case, for bracket's sake, I'll take UNC.
Give me Ole Miss. I think Chris Beard finds a way. I don't think I agree with that stat because it's truthful that every time there's some criticism out there for a team, they find ways. I just don't think North Carolina's good. Criticism or not, they're not a good basketball team to me. The ACC was horrible, and they still weren't that good. So give me Ole Miss. They've played much tougher teams than this night in and night out throughout the season. Moving on to the next game, we have Iowa State at Lipscomb, and Iowa State without Keyshawn Gilbert. That's a massive loss for this team, the number 2 player on the team. Iowa State has no issues in this first-round matchup against Lipscomb, though. Give me Iowa State.
Agreed. Not much more to be said.
Iowa State for both of us. Moving on to this next one, we have Marquette, New Mexico. Really, really interesting matchup. And for all our loyal listeners out there, know that Garrett and I ride Shaka Smart quite a bit. And this is another moment for me. I'm going to go ahead and go again. Garrett, give me New Mexico. I don't think Shaka Smart is all that great in these big games. I think it shows its ugly head again. And I think long sleeve Shaka goes down again. Give me New Mexico. Patino, pony up, baby.
Yeah, Collin, I like it. I've been on Marquette a lot this year. And you're right, we've dogged on Shaka Smart for good reason. He never performs in these games, and I think he does it again. I think he lays a big fat egg. I think Donovan Dent and Cam Jones, this matchup is going to be one of the most underlooked in this tournament. I honestly think Donovan Dent is going to get the better of Cam Jones. I'm going to take New Mexico to win this as well.
You're watching a matchup of 2 of the top 5 or top 6 guards in college basketball come in here and slug it out. Regardless, this will be one of the best games to watch, especially in round 1. This will be a banger. We're both going New Mexico. Wow, we are flowing together on this so far. The last matchup in this region, we have Michigan State against Bryant. This isn't a discussion, right? Michigan State here.
It's not a discussion, but I wouldn't be surprised if this game is close because I'm not a big believer in Michigan State. They really struggle to shoot it, and that always bites you in March.
I agree totally, but I also don't think Bryant is all that good either. As a mid-major getting in, 23 and 11, not the best team out there. So I think Michigan State should be okay in this one. But I agree with you. Neither one of us are sold on Michigan State. So real quick, Garrett, do we want to kind of finish out this region and get to the Final Four in this region? Let's go region by region.
Yep,
All right. So the next matchup, I have Auburn Creighton. You should have Auburn Louisville, correct?
correct.
I'm going to take Auburn over Creighton. I think Auburn's just too much. But I do want to say this real quick for my matchup. I think Creighton does match up really well against this Auburn basketball team. So don't think it's going to be an easy one for Auburn here, but I do think Auburn finds a way. What do you have on the flip side of this for Auburn Louisville?
I think it's a domination. I think Auburn runs away with it unless Louisville can knock down their shots. Obviously, I say that. I mean, that's a very obvious statement, but Louisville is one of those teams, if they struggle from the line, the 3-point line, it's going to get really ugly. They don't struggle from it often, but Auburn is so quick defensively that I think Louisville's going to have a lot of trouble finding any kind of space. I'm going to take Auburn to make Sweet 16. Not a big surprise.
Regardless who wins that 8-9 Louisville Creighton, I think Creighton would be the better game against Auburn than Louisville. I think Creighton has a better chance, I should say, to beat Auburn. I mean, I don't know if you feel the same way, but that's just
I
how I kind
do.
of feel in the matchup.
The only reason I think you're right in that case is because I think Kalkbrenner's length can
Yes.
disrupt Broom a little bit, but I still think Auburn's too athletic for Creighton to keep up with them.
Yeah, for sure. So in this next matchup, we both have UC San Diego and Texas A&M. Garrett, go ahead.
I'm going to take UC San Diego again. I think forcing turnovers in this day and age is a really big deal. We have seen Texas A&M struggle to protect the ball. At times, Wade Taylor can get a little careless with the basketball. I really haven't watched this UC San Diego team much, just going off a hunch. It's really hard to stray away from the SEC, but a 12 seed is going to make a run, and this is going to be my 12 seed.
I laughed and chuckled only because I'm also taking UC San Diego in this matchup. I thought no way in hell we'd both take them this far, but I'm taking them, man. I think this A&M team is a team that gets streaky, gets really hot, gets really cold. I haven't seen them put it all together all that often, so many games in a row, and they don't have a choice at this point. When you get these mid majors in here and the game starts out and what am I trying to say? Like the better team, the A&M, not the mid-major team. Those are the teams that when they are a little sluggish, those mid-majors get a lot of confidence and they don't go away. And the longer they stay in a game, the more likely they are to win because they start to believe in one another. They go to the huddle after timeouts and they're like, "Hey, we're right here. Stay the course. Stay the course." Whereas in your Texas A&M in this game is going over to the huddle and Buzz is sitting there saying, "We got to go. We got to go. We got to go." Two totally different approaches if it comes down to a close game. I believe UC San Diego does win this basketball game. So we will have an Auburn UC San Diego. Will be interesting to talk about that one on the flip side of this. The next matchup I have is Ole Miss at Iowa State. I believe you have North Carolina, Iowa State. So go ahead, Garrett.
I'm still going to roll with Iowa State, even with the Gilbert injury. I think this team's better than we probably talked about most of the year. Obviously, we worried about their offensive struggles. We knew it was coming. It did come. I'm hoping that offensive struggle goes away in this tournament because they are good enough to make a Final Four run if offensively they click. This one, I don't think is going to be too much of a matchup, regardless of who they play. I think Iowa State's going to be the better team. So I'll take Iowa State against, in my case, UNC.
What's the guy's name for Iowa State? Milovich? How do you say that?
Milovich.
Milovich. Yeah.
Yeah.
However you say that, we both know who we're talking about. He is going to be the X factor for this Iowa State team without Keyshawn Gilbert. He's going to have to be a guy that strokes it from the three point line, and he can. And we have seen games where he lights it up, and he can kind of not really take a game over, but really motivate this team and move them in the right direction. But Garrett, I'm going to go against you here. I'm going to believe in Chris Beard here. I'm going to take Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss was really good coming into the season. I think they kind of lost their way a little bit midway through the season, but I think they kind of find it, and I think they get a little bit hot here in this early couple rounds of this March Madness tournament. Give me Ole Miss here in this one. At least we got a little something different going on here at this point in the bracket. I'm filling them in as we speak. The next matchup we have, I think we both have New Mexico at Michigan State. And Garrett, are we both going to do it again? Because I'm
We
telling
are.
you right now, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I am too.
We're both rolling New Mexico. So shout out Tom Izzo. I think you're a great coach. I love the way you do things. I love the way you run a basketball program. But this is a team where Garrett and I both all season, for our loyal listeners out there again, have talked not mad shit on Michigan State, but we've all along said we just don't think this Michigan State team is that good. So I'm going New Mexico. Sounds like you are too. And I think this New Mexico team is really damn good.
I'm taking New Mexico solely because Donovan Dent is going to be the best player on the floor in this game. I
Yes.
think, and again, I've already stated this, but Michigan State's shooting woes really concern me. I mean, if you get into a shootout against a team like New Mexico, you're not going to keep up unless you hit some threes. And Michigan State has proven they can't do it. I think New Mexico is bound to make a run. I love this team unless they find a first round exit against Marquette, but I just don't see it.
Which is very, very damn possible. I mean, but once they defeat Marquette and Cam Jones is out, they have the best guard in this region. So for that reason as well, I'm rolling New Mexico, and I might even roll them again into the next game. I want to be honest with you and throw that out there. Spoiler alert right now. So moving up to the top here, this would be our Sweet 16 matchup, Garrett. We both have Auburn and UC San Diego. I think the Cinderella story kind of ends here, and I think Auburn definitely finds a way to go ahead and defeat UC San Diego. Maybe not with ease, but I think this is one of those games where I can kind of see it now, where it's kind of close throughout the first 30-ish minutes, and the final 10, Auburn just lays the hammer, and UC San Diego kind of runs out of gas.
I think this Cinderella run ends abruptly. I think Auburn boat races this UC San Diego team. I think Auburn might boat race their way to the Final Four. I think even though people are calling this a very difficult region, I think Auburn can get to the Final Four with their eyes closed. I really do. I don't think it's even close. I think Auburn, like I said, I'm a spoiler alert. Auburn here, Auburn to the Final Four for me.
Yeah, it's going to be that way for me too. This next matchup, I mean, I'm taking Auburn in that game for sure. Ole Miss, New Mexico for me, and it would be Iowa State, New Mexico for you. I am taking New Mexico. I'm throwing that out there now. New Mexico is moving on to the Elite Eight for me.
I will be taking Iowa State. I think this team is better than we let them out to be most of the season. Curtis Jones will be the X factor getting this far.
Okay, so you have Auburn, Iowa State. Spoiler alert, sounded like you were taking Auburn here.
Auburn all the way.
Auburn all the way. Okay. And honestly, I'm going to take Auburn too. It's really hard for me not to take Auburn. It's really hard for me to sit here and make a case that New Mexico goes in and wins this basketball game because, hey, like Bruce Pearl said, his guards are not pussies. So I think they match up well against New Mexico and they really can get it done. And yeah, those are words from Bruce Pearl's mouth himself. I really do think that Auburn finds their way all the way.
And not to be chalky, taking the 1 seed right off the bat in this, but I don't think there's been a team proven to be better this season than Auburn. So if you're going to have a 1 seed in your Final Four, it's probably the Auburn Tigers you want in there.
From game one to the last game, this is a team that has played a full season of college basketball at an elite level time and time again. So moving on to the next region, we have number 1 Florida versus number 16 Norfolk State. I, to this day, still hate Norfolk State as a Mizzou fan. All the Mizzou fans out there should know why. Give me Florida by 100. I'm not even going to talk about this one.
Florida, boat race.
Florida for both of us. Moving on to the next one. An intriguing 8-9 matchup with UConn and Oklahoma. I'm pretty confident in my pick. Garrett, give me yours.
I want to take Oklahoma, Collin, but I just don't think they're better. I really don't. I don't think coaching wise, obviously they're not better, even though we hate Dan Hurley. He's a much better coach. I think Jeremiah Fears is a great guard. But at the end of the day, I think UConn's team is far better. I don't even know if this is going to be close. I'm sure it will be. It's an 8-9 matchup, but I have to take UConn, although I'm pretty sure that'll probably be the most public bet team in this first round.
Yeah, give me UConn too, kind of for all the same reasons you said. I think Dan Hurley is out to prove something again, as crazy as that sounds, even though he's proven this before. But I think with all the negativity surrounding him, I feel like this one has the most pressure, I think. And maybe that's not a good thing. But I'm going to put my money with UConn and Dan Hurley 10 out of 10 times in this matchup. Comfortably, UConn in this one. Moving on to the next one, we have Memphis at Colorado State. Public is eyeing Colorado State. The lines are eyeing Colorado State. Garrett, an intriguing 5-12 matchup. Who you rolling with? Memphis got an injury. Does that sway you at all?
No, it doesn't, because I think Tyrese Hunter was the third most impactful player on this team. Obviously, PJ Haggerty and Dane Danger are what make this team run. I hate public 12 seeds because they always seem to get beat. And I'm a firm believer that this Memphis team is good enough to at least make an Elite Eight if they have a great run. I think guard wise, they're very good. I actually think Penny Hardaway's a decent coach. I'm taking Memphis.
Yeah, this is Memphis for me too. Um, I'm not shocked that Colorado State was the betting favorite, but then again, I am. This is a team, Memphis, for me, that a couple weeks ago I made the case that I think they could make an Elite Eight, Final Four run. I think they have the caliber. I think Colorado State's in danger. I'm throwing that out there again. I love this Memphis team, and I'm going to rock with Penny here. Give me Memphis. No sweat bet for me on this one, to be honest with you. Fade the hell out of the public. Moving on to Maryland, Grand Canyon. Garrett, give it to me.
I have not been very high on this Maryland team all year. I understand that they fit every metric to make a run in this tournament. You know, the offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency bullshit. I just don't like teams that start two bigs that neither one can shoot. I don't know a darn thing about this Grand Canyon team, but I'm going to take them to win just because I don't believe in this Maryland team. I think they're a mid-tier Big Ten team that won some very close games.
I'm going to go on the flip side of that. I'm going to take Maryland. I hate being chalky here. I love making things interesting like you do. But Maryland, when they get settled in, dude, they can score with the best of them, and they can score at a high rated clip. So I'm going to go ahead and take Maryland. And anybody out there that knows how that next matchup's going to go for me with that Memphis Maryland pick. I'm just throwing that out there. But I'm going to rock with Maryland on this one. I think they can get it done. This next matchup, I have so many things to say, but for the show's purpose, I'm going to keep it moving and keep it as brief as I can. Missouri Tigers at Drake. Garrett, go ahead, kick me in the ass and tell me you're taking Drake.
I think it's Mizzou, and I think it's Mizzou comfortably. This Mizzou team's good, and Drake, right behind Colorado State, will probably be. I wouldn't be surprised if Drake is selected in 80% of brackets in America.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, Mizzou is much better than that. They don't deserve that kind of disrespect. This team has proven all year they can play with anyone. They beat Florida on the road. This Mizzou team is good. I'm going to take Mizzou to win this first round game.
Yeah, give me Mizzou too. Obviously, that's no surprise to anybody out there. Mark Mitchell get healthy. Mark Mitchell plays. I think and I don't think they embarrass Drake, but I think they can run Drake right out of the damn building. Drake can't score. Mizzou can score, and I think Mizzou pounds him in the dirt, proves a point here. Now, if it's old typical Mizzou, they go in and they lose this game. It's a typical draw from Mizzou right here. Typical Mizzou lose this basketball game. I think this team is different. I've said that time and time again. They got cold, really, really, really cold here at the end of the season, but they went ahead and beat Mississippi State when I thought they wouldn't and proved me wrong. This team is different, and they honestly they battled against Florida without their best player. Mizzou battled against Florida without Mark Mitchell. Mark Mitchell plays. I'm not saying they win that game, but it goes a little bit different, a little bit tighter. Give me Mizzou. I think they rock this one. Moving on to Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington. Texas Tech all day long here for me. There is no reason anybody out there can make a case for me that UNC Wilmington can upset them.
No, I don't even think this will be close. This will be the most lopsided 3-14 matchup there is. I'm probably wrong on all these, by the way. Do not spend your well earned money on what I say or what Collin says. These are our opinions.
Yeah, this is all opinion based, right? And I don't think, let's be realistic out there. I don't think there's really any real good strategy to follow any expert out there. And I'm not calling you or I experts. I feel like we definitely know our shit. And we've been right about a lot of things this season, but I really don't think there's anybody out there you should follow. Go with your gut. And if we tempt you one way or the other, then rock with us. But I am comfortable on Texas Tech. I'll tell you that right now. That's an expert opinion. Give me Texas Tech. I think they're incredible. I think they're the best three seeded in the tournament, in my opinion, by far. In a way, I'm comfortable to say that as well. Moving on to this next game. What an interesting matchup we have here. Number 7, Kansas. Number 10, Arkansas. I hear some rumblings that Tero's playing. I hear some rumblings that Boogie Flan might make an appearance and come back. We have John Calipari. We have Bill Self. Could we have drawn up a better 7-10 matchup, Garrett?
No, I just wish both teams were a little bit better. I mean, that would make it more exciting.
Yes.
But it is a great matchup. It's an interesting one. It's going to be probably one of the more watched first round games of this tournament. I can't believe I'm saying this, Colin. I really can't. I'm going to lean with John Calipari to win this game. I think the Arkansas roster is better than the Kansas roster. And if Taro and Flan play, great. Truthfully, they don't need them based off how they've been playing. Obviously, they're very inconsistent without them, but they looked better without them. They play, it's a bonus. If they don't play, I'm cool with it. I'm taking Arkansas either way, mainly because I hate Hunter Dickinson. That's my 2 cents.
Well, I'm gonna copy and paste everything you just said. I made a case 5, 6 weeks ago that this Arkansas team was playing better without Boogie Flan there for a little bit. So I don't think it's gonna hurt Boogie Flan playing. I don't think, but then again, it could throw off a little chemistry, a little bit of the rotations that they had going. But you're gonna get, and this is a lot coming from me, and you're gonna get Hunter Dickinson's best basketball game in this basketball game. It's a national stage. This is where Hunter Dickinson tends to play a little more defense than he would on a Thursday night. This is where Hunter Dickinson tends to go get a rebound a little more than he would on a Tuesday night. But yeah, give me Arkansas. I was the one on this show that before the season started that said Arkansas can make a Final Four. And I may not get them that far in this bracket this go around, but I'm here to tell you they're going to win this first round matchup. Give me John Calipari. We may both come back cussing next week for us ever putting our money with Calipari, but I'm going to do it one last time right here, I think. Give me Arkansas.
It's an awesome
So,
matchup. If you would have told me before the season that Kansas is playing Arkansas in the NCAA tournament, I probably would have said, damn, they both made the Final Four. That's awesome.
what a Final Four. Yes, exactly. Funny you're saying that right here. Another team I took to make the Final Four was St. John's, and they're matched up against Omaha. It sucks for me that I'm going to have St. John's, Arkansas next round because I wanted them both to make the Final Four. But give me St. John's. Short discussion from me here.
St. John's.
Anybody that follows this show knows that I can't get off that tip any harder than what I am right now. St. John's, baby. I love it. Going back to the top, round of 32. Florida, UConn. What a hell of a round of 32 basketball game.
Yeah, and I'm still kind of undecided of which route I want to go here. I think Florida is playing right now. It's a fair argument to say Florida is the best team in the country based off how they've played over the last 2 weeks. Did they peak too soon? Is the big question. You often see that. I know UConn is going to put up one hell of a fight if they get matched up with Florida in this game. I still think the depth and the talent of Florida is miles above the talent and athleticism of UConn's basketball team. I'm going to take Florida in this one, but I think it's going to be one hell of a game.
Let me lead off by saying this, very similar to what you just said. Florida's the best team in the country. Florida is the best team in the country right now in college basketball. And to be honest, Garrett, I don't think it's close at this moment. But you also took the words out of my mouth in saying they peaked too soon. They won too much too soon. Florida is the safe pick here because Florida's going to win against Norfolk State. Florida's going to have the best chance to win. And I'm telling you right now, if Oklahoma beats UConn, Florida boat races Oklahoma. But I'm going to go ahead and take UConn in this basketball game. I can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe I'm taking Dan Hurley. I can't believe I'm doing this to myself. I'm pissed off at my own self. I want to beat my own ass, but give me UConn in this basketball game. I think UConn does beat Florida. And it's all because I think the public is in love with Florida. And I like to go away from the public a little bit. So, yeah, man, give me UConn. I can't believe I'm doing it. God, I can't believe I'm doing it. Next matchup. Go ahead. Sorry.
You could also make a case that the public is going to love UConn trying to go for 3 in a row.
Yeah. And that may be too. That may be too. But the only pushback I have on that is they've been publicized negatively so damn much that I think they're like public enemy number one right now. And Florida just went on the SEC, and they were the best conference. But every time you turn on a college basketball show or an ESPN network, talking about how the SEC is the best conference. So everybody is in love with Florida right now too. What a game, regardless. What a damn game. The next matchup I have is Memphis, Maryland. You have Memphis, Grand Canyon. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Memphis, and I don't even think it's close. I don't even think it's close if Maryland ends up winning against Grand Canyon. I think Memphis is the better basketball team. We say this all the time on the show. At this time of year, we trust guards, we trust coaching. I think Memphis has far better guards than anyone that they would face in the second round. And I think Penny Hardaway's an okay coach, so I'll take Memphis.
Give me Memphis. Short discussion for me, too. Give me Memphis for all the reasons you just said, times a million. I'm a believer in this Memphis team. Another team I mentioned that can make the Final Four. 3 of the 4 teams I mentioned to make the Final Four in this region. That's a crock of shit. But, yeah, give me Memphis here. Moving on. No, Garrett, I'm sorry. 4 of the 4 teams, because Texas Tech is also in this region. This next matchup, we have Mizzou, Texas Tech. What a basketball game, I think. I think the public out there would say that it's Texas Tech by 100. But this is a really good matchup if this happens.
Yeah, I'm going to take Texas Tech. I just think I haven't talked a lot about Texas Tech this year because I always worried about their offense. They keep proving me wrong. Offensively, they look okay. And defensively, you know what you're getting from Texas Tech. I'm going to take them to beat Mizzou in this matchup. I think they're too big. I think they bully Mizzou around in this one. Give me Texas Tech.
I don't know where to go in this one. I don't want to bet with my heart, but I am a firm believer that Mizzou could win this basketball game. I am a firm believer that Mizzou could win this basketball game. Here's what it's going to take. It's going to take Jacob Cruz playing only 5 minutes and not shooting the ball as much, and it's going to take Caleb Grill, stroking 7 for 13 from the three-point line. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take Mark Mitchell shutting down JT Toppin and slowing him down. But, man, I'm going to take Texas Tech. I can't believe I'm doing it. I can't believe I'm going against my heart here. But, hell, I took UConn over Florida. Shows purpose. Give me Texas Tech over Mizzou. JT Toppin's just too much. Moving on to the next one, Garrett. We have Arkansas and St. John's. You have Arkansas too, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so we both have an Arkansas-St. John's matchup. Go ahead.
Too much defensive pressure from St. John's. Their shooting issues will not catch up to them yet. I'm going to take St. John's to win this one.
Yeah, give me St. John's too. Give me St. John's too. Short and sweet. Arkansas goes in droughts. Hell, we saw them score like 14, 15, or 16 points and a half. I don't remember what it was. It was so bad I tried to erase it from memory. And St. John's is a defense unlike any they've played. St. John's rocks this basketball game. Cal, congratulations. You won one, but you're not going to win two. The revenge and the fight of Patino lives on one more week. Give me St. John's. Moving back up to the top, that gives us UConn, Memphis, Garrett. Give me Memphis, baby. Come on, let's go. PJ Haggerty, Dane Danger. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to wear it out. UConn's in danger now. I love this Memphis Tigers basketball team.
I don't hate the pick at all. I think Memphis has what it takes. I have Florida and Memphis, and I'm gonna take the Gators one more time. I do think their run comes short, but I just think they're playing too good a basketball right now to have anything less than a Elite Eight run. I really do. I don't think there's a team that's going to be able to slow them down in the first 3 games of this tournament.
Yeah, if Florida is at that point, it's Florida for me too, right? I'm just going back and I'm patchworking that if Oklahoma somehow wins and all that shit, it is Florida for me too. If the matchup is what you have right there, no questions asked, actually, because of guard play. Moving on to this next matchup, I have Texas Tech. You have Texas Tech. I have St. John's. You have St. John's. And if this matchup happens, Garrett, this would be the hardest game in the world for me to tell you right now that I'm going to pick. This is the hardest matchup of any matchup I look at in this bracket for me to pick right now, Texas Tech, St. John's. So you go ahead and tell me what you're doing.
I'm going to take Texas Tech because I think it's an offensive and defensive style that St. John's has not faced all year. I think physically, I think Texas Tech can give St. John's more than they have seen all year. I don't think there's been a team that physically matched up with St. John's like Texas Tech can. And if a team can match up defensively and physically with St. John's, look at offense. Texas Tech offense is much better than St. John's. I'm going to take Texas Tech.
Give me St. John's. Give me St. John's. I kind of told myself I might pick the opposite of you if you did pick Texas Tech just to try to make things interesting. If you pick St. John's, it was going to be hard for me to go against them. This is my Cinderella team, man. I was bought in early. I'm going to keep riding with them. I think Luis Ejiofor and Richmond, I think these are guys that can go make it done, dude. And I trust everything that Patino has to offer at this point. This guy is all the way in. He is all the way in, and I love everything that they're doing right now. Give me St. John's. Not comfortable. Hardest matchup for me once again. So going back, this would mean that this is interesting. In our Elite Eight, we have two different teams here. I love this. This is awesome. This is what we're here for. You have Florida against Texas Tech. Would also be an impossible matchup for me to pick. So I'm really interested to see your take on this.
I think this is where the Florida run ends. I'm all of a sudden, and I don't know when this happened, like 3 days ago, 2 days ago, maybe like 12 hours ago. I'm all of a sudden like the biggest Texas Tech believer you're ever going to see.
I love Texas Tech.
I don't know what happened. I like him. I think JT Top. I think this whole team is much better than I really gave them credit for. Offensively, when Texas Tech can score, I just think about the last Texas Tech team that could score. They made the championship. This team can score. So it's like, I have to do this. And I don't want to be chalky. I don't want to have the one seeds in every Final Four. I'm taking Texas Tech. They're my second Final Four team.
Love that. I love that. I love both those teams. Think they're both great. I have Memphis St. John's, two teams that I'm in love with, two teams that I love watching play. Would love to watch this matchup. Give me St. John's. Give me St. John's. I have to do it, man. I have to do it. I can't stop now, right? I got to keep on rolling. Don't stop now. I'll kick my own ass if I didn't do it and they did it, right? So for all intents and purposes, St. John's for me. So that would mean that we have Auburn, St. John's so far in the Final Four for me, and you have Auburn, Texas Tech in the Final Four for you. We're going to move on to the other two regions. Moving right along here, we have Duke against American or Mount St. Mary's. Save the time, Duke.
Duke. And I will add one thing. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was asking about Cooper Flagg. And I made the comment, there's no reason for Duke to put Cooper Flagg on the floor.
Why does he play in this basketball game?
Either of the first two games, really. They don't need him. I would sit him to the Sweet 16. If you want to put him in for the round of 32, great. He better not touch the floor against Mount St. Mary's or American. Better not.
He should, even if he wants to. Even if he wants to. He's not playing. I'm going to pull Olin out of the hat not so fast on that next round, though. I think he should play in the round of 32. But with that being said, we have a Mississippi State-Baylor matchup. Garrett, how you feeling here?
Baylor has sucked all year. Why would they turn it around now? I mean, they had their chance to prove something to me in the Big 12 tournament. They fought Houston well, but they still didn't get a win. They did not earn the respect that I was looking for. I think Mississippi State is going to just add to this SEC domination this year. I'm taking Mississippi State.
Give me Baylor. They've sucked all year. Why would they start playing good now? Because it's March Madness, baby. Because it's March Madness, and we've said week in and week out if Baylor finds it. I'm here to tell you, they might find it. They're not going to find it. They might just find it. But I'm going Baylor. I think, once again, I'm going to say it again for like the 18th week in a row. They're star-studded. Play better. Be better. Scott Drew, be better. Moving on to Oregon, Liberty. I'm here to tell you this is one of the most exciting matchups for me in the first round. This probably won't be a heavily watched game, but I'm here to tell you, watch it. Liberty can flat-ass stroke it from three-point range. Give me Liberty upsetting Oregon in the first round.
I just think this Oregon team is too good. I do. I think this Oregon team's really good. Jackson Shelstad is one hell of a guard. Obviously, TJ Bamba is Mr. Do Everything. And I think Nate Biddle is too good down low for a mid-major to contain. I'm going to take Oregon in this one. I've liked them all year. I tend to support the Big Ten since that's where my Hoosiers are. I'm going to take Oregon.
For the right reasons, Oregon's a damn good team. But, yeah, let me rock with Liberty. They can stroke it out of the QSUP. Moving on to the next one, we have Arizona at Akron. Go ahead.
I think it's Arizona. I mean, we don't like them. I don't like them. You don't like them. But what have they continued to do throughout the course of this season, Collin?
Somehow win basketball games, dude.
They're winning. And I'm going to take them to win this one as well. Give me Arizona. Give me Caleb Love, Bradley, the whole team. I hate it, but they're going to win.
I don't have anything to add. Give me Arizona, too. I'm not going to try to start acting like I like them and believe in them now. I just think they're too much for Akron. Give me Arizona as well. Now, this next one is intriguing. This next one is really good. BYU, VCU. Go ahead.
I'm going to stay chalky. I'm going to take BYU, and it's only because of Richie Saunders. I think Richie Saunders is one of the best players in basketball at putting the ball in the bottom of the bucket. If you haven't watched him, tune into this game. VCU's defense might smother him, but he's legit, and I think this BYU team is very fun to watch. I might have a little bit more in store for them.
Yeah, give me BYU as well. Richie's nice. I think they can stroke it from three. When they get hot, they're one of the best shooting teams in the country, and nobody can contain them at times. Give me BYU for the same reasons. Really good basketball team. Really slept on, in my opinion. I think earlier we were talking about the public really laying the wood on some teams. I think VCU will be a team that is heavily, heavily bet, and I think they will be heavily, heavily wrong. So BYU for you, BYU for me, BYU for everybody. Wisconsin, Montana in the next matchup. Wisconsin for me. I'll keep it brief.
Wisconsin for me.
Love that. Next one, St. Mary's at Vanderbilt. Basketball game here that I can't wait to watch. Garrett, tell me what you're thinking.
I love the St. Mary's team. I really do. It's just they're very similar to me as a BYU, but with much less offense. They just don't make mistakes. This team will not beat themselves. They won't turn it over. They play very smart basketball. I just think the smartness of their basketball team is going to outdo Vanderbilt.
Give me Vanderbilt. This is a really good game. I think St. Mary's would be the smart play here. I really do. I like Hoggard and Vanderbilt a lot. I think they played really tough basketball games. I don't think St. Mary's is going to throw anything at them that Vanderbilt hasn't already seen this season, a time or two or three. So for that reason, give me Vanderbilt. And not a comfortable one for me, but I kind of like the way that leans. I kind of like that matchup for Vanderbilt.
I'll argue against that statement. St. Mary's is going to throw something at Vanderbilt that they never see in the SEC, and it's a very slow tempo. I mean,
Okay, that's fair.
if St. Mary's can control tempo, they have. You know what? I'm just going to stop because I have more to say about them.
All right. Hey, I like it. I can't wait to hear about it. Moving on to Bama, Robert Morris, Bama for me. Moving on for me.
Bama, but it'll be closer than you expect because they can't stop a nosebleed.
Is Grant Nelson playing as well? I mean, we got a lot of questions there for that Bama team. Moving back up to the top of this region, I have Duke Baylor. You have Duke Mississippi State. Cooper Flag, you still don't know if he needs to play. How you feeling on this for Duke then?
Easy win, Duke all the way. This team is way too deep. Even without Cooper Flag, they are still worthy of a 1 seed.
I might do the dumbest shit I've done all year.
Jesus Christ, here we go.
I might just do the dumbest shit I've done all year, Garrett. Do I take Baylor over Duke? Or
They're
is
gonna
that just
lose.
the most asinine thing you've ever heard?
You know what? Listen, you've rode St. John's all year. You have them in your Final Four. Just take Baylor that far too. You've done it the whole year. Just do it again.
I might as well take Baylor because I might be able to talk it into reality. I talk
Okay.
St. John's into reality. Maybe I can talk Baylor. I'm going to take Baylor over Duke just to say that if it does happen, I might be the only guy that's ever done a basketball March Madness podcast and had Baylor beat Duke. Just for the case that it might happen. Give me Baylor. Let's make it fun.
Listen, if Cooper Flag isn't healthy, I'm not saying this team is great without him. Obviously, they are 10 times better with Cooper Flag. I mean, if Cooper Flag plays this game, Baylor has no answer. They are much more beatable without Cooper Flag, but I still think this team is too good.
It just goes back to the same damn thing again. If Baylor can maximize it, god dang, dude. Like, what do we – yeah, I'm not going – whatever. Moving on to the next matchup, I have Liberty, Arizona. You have Oregon, Arizona. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take it.
One more win for Arizona this season. Then I'm done with them. I promise you I'm done with them because we've done nothing but talk mad shit on them all year. But they get one more win, and I think Caleb Love is honestly probably the reason they advance this far.
Give me Liberty. I have Liberty, Arizona. Like I said before, this is not a safe pick for me because or Liberty has their hands full in game one, and you took Oregon. So, but I think if Liberty does beat Oregon, I think Liberty beats Arizona. I really, really do. This is not a Baylor pick for me. This is if Liberty beats Oregon, Liberty will beat Arizona. Arizona is DOA on this matchup. Give me Liberty. Moving on. BYU, Wisconsin for both of us. Is it Richie again for you?
It is. And this is a game, there may only be like 4 combined turnovers in this game. I mean, you're going to be watching 2 teams that take pride in protecting the basketball. It's going to be a shootout in this one. I mean, both of these teams can really score the ball. I'm going to take BYU to outscore Wisconsin. I just think I will take Richie Saunders over John Tonji. Truthfully, I will.
Yeah, I'm going to take Wisconsin here. I think Wisconsin's proved me wrong. I think we just saw John Tonji by far and away play his worst game of the season in the Big Ten championship game. and I think he'll have a little bit more to say about that. The only thing that worries me is Wisconsin's going to be a little tired. They play a lot of basketball here. They got a flight back and then a flight back to this regional. Some say it affects those guys. Some say it doesn't. Some say that's what they're here to do. They're programmed to do this type of thing. This is nothing new for them. So give me Wisconsin. I think John Tanji's got a lot to say in this tournament, and I think he wants to prove a little bit more here to the public than what people know about him so far. So give me Wisconsin. This is going to be interesting, Garrett. We don't have the same Sweet 16 team yet in this regional. Moving on, Vandy, Bama. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Give me Bama.
I have St. Mary's and Bama. I'll keep it not so short, not so sweet. It's St. Mary's. Here's why. St. Mary's draws back-to-back SEC teams. The SEC conference has never seen a team this season run this pace. They will have no idea what to do when St. Mary's is walking the ball up the floor, taking off 25 seconds of shot clock. I think they're going to get rushed. I think the St. Mary's team can contain Alabama to a level that Alabama's not used to. It's going to frustrate them, and St. Mary's is going to come away with the win. This team is much better than a 7-seed, Collin. They are.
I agree with that.
This team is smart. They have been together for a long time, and they know their style of basketball, and it's going to frustrate these SEC teams that are used to running the ball up and down the floor.
Man, if we came into this, I would have lost a lot of money because I know you love Bama. I'm not saying you're a fan of Bama, but I know you're a big believer in Bama basketball. I'd have lost a lot of money you not having Bama in the Final Four here.
Collin, I say all the time that offense wins championships, and I'm a firm believer that it does. I'm a firm believer you cannot win this tournament if you can't score the ball. But you have got to be able to stop someone. I mean, this team
that's true.
Can't stop anyone. Like I'm worried. I'm actually worried that Robert Morris might drop 80 on Alabama. I really am because their defense is so bad, and it's so much in part because I think Cliff Amore is not near the impact player that I thought he'd be for this Alabama team. I'm really disappointed at how he has played throughout the whole course of the season. I just think it's going to be an earlier exit than we both expect. It sucks because I was really high on them, but defensively they're probably don't know where they are ranking wise, but they've got to be at the bottom of the country.
The only thing that helps them is they can score with the best of them too. So I'm going to roll with Bama there, and they're in my Sweet 16 for me. And I'm just kind of laughing at this next matchup I had to talk about here for myself and Baylor Liberty. But you have Duke and Arizona, I believe, correct? So go ahead and give me yours.
It's Duke. It's Duke all the way for me. I think behind Auburn, I think Duke is the second best team in the country. And I don't think there's really anyone that can keep up with them offensively. And I don't think there's a team that plays defense as together as this Duke team does.
I'm kind of smiling here. I got Baylor Liberty, and if Baylor makes it this far, they're winning one more. Give me Baylor into the Elite Eight. Jesus, there's no chance this happens. Do not listen to this region for me. Good Lord. Moving on to the next game, I have Wisconsin Bama, and you have BYU St. Mary's. So go ahead again, Garrett.
One more win for St. Mary's. I'm a big believer of this team. I really am. There's something to me that is a little bit important when you have guys that have played together for 3 or 4 years. You guys have played together a long time, and once again, if they can control the pace of play, they win. That goes for all of these games. If they lose the control of pace, they stand no chance against Vanderbilt or Bama. If they let these games get to a track meet, it's over. But if they control the pace, they win. One more for St. Mary's.
One more for St. Mary's. Well, give me Bama. I got Bama in the Elite Eight for me, and I'm going to have Baylor playing Bama. And to keep it short, I'm going to take Bama to my Final Four in this region. Garrett, go ahead and close your region out for us and give us your Final Four team out of this region.
It will be the Duke Blue Devils led behind Cooper Flagg.
Duke Blue Devils. See, I just can't do it. I think they are.
America, the casual fans of college basketball need to be able to watch Cooper Flagg play in a Final Four. Like, I want them to see this because it's something they will never see again in their lifetime. A player of this talent at that age playing basketball. I want America.
Guy's incredible. He really is an incredible talent. And Duke's a really damn good team, even without him on the floor. So This is a tough exit for me, obviously, and I have Baylor with the upset. Most likely you will see Duke in the Final Four for sure. Moving on to our last region here. We got Houston at SIUE. Poor SIUE. Congratulations making your first tournament. But good Lord, you're about to get pasted. Give me Houston by 60.
I'm going to tune into this just to see how bad it gets, but it's Houston.
Good Lord. SIUE's got no answer. Goodness gracious. Gonzaga at Georgia in the next matchup. A really intriguing matchup here. And if people out there, the casual fan, haven't watched Georgia, Georgia's got a couple of really good players, Austin Newell being one, a guy that you must watch when you watch this game, a really good talent. But I'm going to go ahead and take the Zags here. I'll be honest, I think they're a really good 8-seed team, and I think they might be too much for Georgia.
Guards and coaching, and Gonzaga has them both. I'll take Gonzaga.
Moving on to the next one, we got Clemson McNeese. Garrett, I'm going to fade the ACC yet again. Give me McNeese on a bold take upset here.
I'm not taking McNeese just because I feel like the whole country is going to be on Will Wade to get this win. Will Wade is a very common talking point among these mid-majors, and I don't like when mid-majors get that much hype. I'm going to take Clemson. If you can pick up a win against Duke this season, you've earned my respect. I think this Clemson team is good enough to win this game.
That's completely fair. Completely fair. Don't blame me for that one. Moving on to Purdue High Point. Can I talk you into High Point?
Almost. I mean, I thought about it, but guards and coaching, once again, I think Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, and Matt Painter are just too much. I think Purdue wins this one.
Okay, you won't do it. I will. Give me High Point in this one. I really like what High Point brings to the table. I've actually, crazily as it sounds, watched a couple High Point basketball games. I like what they bring to the table. I think they're a damn good basketball team. I think they're well coached. I think they have a lot of confidence. And congratulations to them for earning this bid and earning this spot. I mean, this is a mid-major team here that comes in here with 29 wins. They're a damn good basketball team. And I have watched quite a bit of Purdue games, and there's times when I don't like what I see out of Purdue. There's times when I love what I see out of Purdue. They got the guards. They got the experience. They've been here before. But give me High Point. Truly, give me High Point. The next matchup we're going to talk about is Illinois against Texas or Xavier. This is a really good playing game, and this is a really good matchup. Go ahead.
I love Illinois against either team. I think they match up better against Xavier probably because Xavier's another team with one singular quad one win that somehow gets into this freaking tournament. I don't think Xavier wins that playing game. I think Illinois beats either one of them. I'm going to take the Fighting Illini.
Same reasons. Give me Illinois against either team. It doesn't really bother me either way. I do think it'll be a good game, but give me Illinois either way. Illinois has one of the best freshmen in the country. Cannot wait to watch him. Really needs to crank it up in this tournament. Everybody knows who I'm talking about. I don't really know how to say his name that well. I don't want to butcher it again.
Asparis Jakubchonis.
Jakubchonis. Okay, there we go. I like when you say it like that. It makes me feel really good. So I really like this Illinois pick even more now. Moving on to Kentucky, Troy, Garrett. It's Kentucky for me. I'm going to keep that one brief.
I don't have a 3-14 upset on the card yet, and there's going to be one somewhere. And I think it's going to be this Troy team. And you'll see why I'm doing this later. I don't really care if Kentucky wins this game. But this just seems like a typical game that Kentucky would have lost with Coach Cal. And I think it's a typical game that they would lose with Mark Pope. This team, defensively, not great, truthfully. Not great. I mean, a mid-major can come in and score 80. Offensively, probably too much to handle. But I'll take the upset. I've been very chalky in this, so I'll take Troy.
Wow, I like that. I like Oweh a lot for Kentucky, too. I think Kentucky is just too much for them. I really do. I think they wear them down. Moving on to the next one, we have UCLA, Utah State. Really intriguing matchup here.
Really boring matchup. I mean, you will not find me in this game for a second of this one. I don't believe in UCLA at all. I really don't. They don't have a single player on their team. Maybe Bilodeau, but other than that, they don't have a single player on the team that can really take a basketball game over when it matters. Does Utah State? Don't really know. I haven't watched a whole lot of them either. This game is very boring to me. I'm going to take Utah State.
Give me Utah State as well. Hell, I've picked all 10 seeds in the 7-10 matchups. Why change now? Give me Utah State. I don't like anything UCLA does basketball-wise at all this season. I don't think they're good. I don't think they bring much here. No belief in them for me at all. Give me Utah State. Last First round of 64 matchup for us to talk about, or not really talk about, is Tennessee against Wolford. Tennessee for me. Keep it brief. Tennessee coming off a upsetting loss. They are going to paste Wolford.
Tennessee, this offense for Tennessee has really clicked. They could be a scary team in this tournament.
Yeah, they absolutely can. They truly can. For a team that I talked about a couple weeks ago about how they go stale and get really boring at times, they have really found their stride. I must have pissed them off. Moving on to back to the top of this region, we have Houston, Gonzaga for both of us. I think you got Gonzaga too, correct? Houston, Gonzaga for both of us. I'll go first. It's Houston for me. It's still not close for me.
It will. I think it'll be closer than you expect. Maybe for a while. This Gonzaga team is pretty damn good at protecting the ball. Ryan Nembhard is arguably one of the best point guards in this country. If he can protect it, it'll be close. But I just don't think Gonzaga has. I don't know how to word. Maybe the physical strength to keep up with this Houston team. They are damn good. So I'll take Houston.
LJ Cryer is playing at such an elite level right now, and Uzan, and that you say his name,
Who's
has
on?
really Uzan just absolutely came alive for this Houston team. Just too much at every position. It is Houston for me comfortably, and I got a lot more Houston coming your way. Moving on to the next one, I got a banger of all bangers in McNeese and High Point. I'm sure this would be the most watched game in the round of 32 of all games out there on the slate. Give me High Point, baby. I'm a believer in this High Point team. I've watched some games. I'm a believer. Give me High Point. I would love to see these two teams match up.
I would too. I really would too. If that's the matchup, I would tune in to watch it. Maybe
Absolutely.
for a little bit, but not a ton. I'm looking at Clemson and Purdue. I was pretty chalky in this region. I think these teams are very comparable, Colin. I don't think there's a lot of difference between these two teams. And when that's the case, I typically lean with the coach, and Matt Painter's a lot better than probably any coach in this region. Maybe. I would take Matt Painter over most coaches in this region, so I will take Purdue.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I don't know, man. Barnes from Tennessee,
He
and
never does well in March, Colin.
I'm
Never.
drawing a blank. What the hell is Houston's coach's name? Can see his
Colin
face.
Sampson.
Kelvin Sampson. Love me some Kelvin Sampson too. But I hear you on that 100%. This is you can't go wrong with Matt Painter. We made a case before how we love Matt Painter on this show, so I agree with you on that. Love the take. Moving on, I have Illinois, Kentucky. You have Illinois, Troy. Tell it to me.
Illinois. Obviously, that's why I took Troy to beat Kentucky to have a little flair. I would have Illinois beat Kentucky anyway. I think this Illinois team, listen, Colin, they started the season looking like the best team in the Big Ten. It hit a major mid to end season lull. This team is so much better than what we've seen. Jakob Jonas is a monster. Avicius is a stud. I think Boswell is phenomenal at the guard position. I think Hummerkaus is one of the best shooters at the 4 spot in the country. I really think this Illinois team can make a special run in this tournament. I will take the Illini.
Well, I have Illinois, Kentucky, and you had Illinois, Troy. Give me Illinois as well. I'm on the flip side of this with you that Illinois plays Kentucky or Troy, either one. I think they win for every reason that you said. You left nothing. You left no stone unturned right there. Illinois is a damn good basketball team. Brad Underwood might beat every player on his team if they don't win this game. I love how fired up he gets. I love watching him coach basketball games. I love how red in the face he gets when shit's not going his way. Give me Illinois. I am a believer in this Illinois basketball team, and I'm a Mizzou fan telling you that. Believe me on this. Illinois is way better than what they've showcased so far. Moving on to the next game, I have Utah, Tennessee, or Utah State. Sorry, Tennessee. Did you take Utah State as well?
Did. Yep.
All right, give it to me.
It's Tennessee for me, and again, it's not even close. When this team clicks defensively and offensively, they are one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the country. And the way they've been clicking, it's going to be very hard to stop them. I'm going to take Tennessee.
I'm taking Tennessee as well. I think it will be a closer matchup than most people out there think. Utah State, they play late at night. There's been a few nights I've been up with the kids because they don't sleep and watch a couple of these games. They are a better basketball team than some out there know, and some out there realize. I think it'll be closer than most think. But yes, give me Tennessee. I still think it is comfortable for them in this matchup. Moving back up to the top, I have Houston High Point. I'm here to tell you right now, the Cinderella story ends. Houston wins this basketball game. It's another splattering for Houston.
Yeah, and I have Houston, Purdue, and either way, I think it's a boat race. I think Houston runs away with it. It doesn't really matter who they play up to the Elite Eight. I think they cakewalk to that spot.
Yes, without a doubt. So that leaves us both with Illinois, Tennessee. Are either one of us going to do it? You're going to do it. Talk to me.
I am. I just believe in this Illinois team. What I saw early in the season is what I believe Illinois is capable of, not the 106-72 ass whooping they took in Madison Square Garden to Duke. This team's better than that. And I'm a firm believer that Jakob Jonas is one of the best guards in this league when he plays normal. I mean, he doesn't have to do too much. I think this Illinois team is legit. They just haven't played very good. And maybe that means they're not legit. Maybe I'm just stupid for thinking that, but I'm going to ride them. I'm going to have a little bit of flair, and some of these give me Illinois.
It sounds like Illinois is to you what Baylor is to me. I love it, man. Ride with your guys, believe in them, and make them prove it to you. I don't fault you for this Illinois take. If Illinois plays grade A basketball like they can, they win this basketball game. This is where I'm going to go against that Baylor thing a little bit here. Illinois hasn't done it for me in a while, so I don't think they're going to do it here, and I think Tennessee does it way more than they don't, right? So I'm going to take Tennessee. I think Chaz Lanier puts on an absolute clinic. This would be an absolute banger basketball matchup to watch. So I really do hope this happens. And I want Chaz Lanier to take the TV networks by storm. He is one of the best shooters in the country to watch when he gets it going. I do think Tennessee wins it. They have a senior captain on that team that really wants it. I call him Lil Bow Wow because he looks just like him from Like Mike. So I think Tennessee has what it takes to make a run here. So give me Tennessee over Illinois. And that gives me Houston, Tennessee, an Elite Eight matchup. And that gives you Houston, Illinois, Elite Eight matchup. I would love to watch either one of these. Go
I'm,
ahead.
do- I'm doing it again. I am, Colin. I'm going to be different. I'm going to ride with this Illinois team like my life depends on it. This would give me each a team from four different conferences in the Final Four. I don't know how often that's ever happened, but we might see it. You never know. This is all luck anyway. And I'm going to roll with a team that I believe in. Obviously, I believe in Houston. I think Houston's a phenomenal basketball team, but I'm ready for this Illinois team to get right. If they win this game, we get a really interesting matchup against Duke in the Final Four in my bracket. Would love to see that happen to see if Illinois could rebound.
Hey, ride with your guys, like you said. And it is all luck. And it is one of those things that when a team gets motivated and a team's playing together finally, and a team has a fresh start for a season, they can get it going. So I love what you're doing with Illinois. I do think they have what it takes to do it. I just think Houston's too much. I just think Houston's too much for anybody in this region. I'm going to take Houston over Tennessee in the matchup that I have. And I'll be honest, Garrett, I could make a case where I don't think it's close if Houston plays Tennessee. I really do. I love Houston, and I said weeks ago it's going to be hard to have Houston not in my finals for me. So, spoiler alert, I have Houston beating Bama, and I have Houston going to the national championship game for me.
And I have Duke beating Illinois for a second time this year. I'm going to be giving you America's championship game. This is the championship game that I'm going to have is the championship game that all of America wants to see for a second time this season. They played early. A lot of people forget that they played early. Spoiler alert, I'm taking Auburn. We're going to have a Duke Auburn Final Four. The winner of this game probably wins your Wooden Award. Is it Janai Broom? Is it Cooper Flag? I'll let you go. I won't get too far ahead of myself.
I like what you're doing. My Final Four is Auburn, St. John's, Bama, Houston. I have Houston beating Bama. I have St. John's beating Auburn. Really interesting here, honestly, that both of us have completely different teams in the finals. I think the only team that you and I had the same in the Final Four is Auburn. So maybe for everybody out there listening, ride with us on that because anytime the stars align for Garrett and I, that shit usually hits. So Auburn to the Final Four, could feel comfortable doing that. but I'm going to take St. John's for all reasons I've said all year long. If you've listened to us before, I don't need to get into it too much. Give me St. John's, my favorite player in college basketball, Kadari Richmond. Let's go, St. John's. Let's go, Patino. Find a way.
I love it. Yeah, I really do. I wish they would shoot the ball better, and I would have them there. I don't even need to see more offensive talent from them. I just want to see them shoot low 30s, mid 30s. Obviously, would be incredible, but their 3-point percentage just doesn't do it for me. But defensively, I've never seen a team quite like St. John's. My national champion, I have to do it just because I've never seen a player like this in my life. I've never watched a player like Cooper Flagg. I think he cements his legacy at Duke with the national championship, and I think that's his final game as a Blue Devil, even though he keeps saying he wants to come back. Don't. Please don't. Just go get your money. Get out. It's Duke, national champions for me. I hate doing it, but in my opinion, they are the best team in college basketball with a healthy Cooper Flagg.
You're not wrong for anything you just said. You were right about everything. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. And I'm going to be honest about one thing right now, Garrett. This shouldn't take anything away from him. This is just me being me. When I saw Cooper Flagg, and here's why he shouldn't come back. He had a scary little ankle injury right there in his last game he played in. Tweaked it a little bit, scared him, made him nervous. He didn't lose any talent because of what happened, but like I said, this is me being me. You go get put in a damn wheelchair after a little bit of a sprained ankle, dude. I lost some respect. I think you're a badass player. I think you're a generational talent. But we put you in a wheelchair? Come on, dude. I watch hockey and these guys get their heads cut off and they just get right back out on the ice, dude. You're fine. Get your ass to the locker room, wrap it up. I get it. You don't need to play anymore. You don't need to play till the round of 32. Go sit your ass out. Show the ice. Show the high school number 32 with the bling. I love it. I love all that shit. I eat it up. But you don't need to be in a damn wheelchair for a sprained ankle. But yes, I love Cooper Flagg. Love what you're doing. And real quick, I am going to take this is where it ends for me in St. John's. This is where I cut ties. This is where I cut bait and move on. Give me Houston. They are just too much. I said it a second ago. I'm going to say it again. They are too much for everybody out there. I'll be the first to say this, too. If it's a Houston-St. John's matchup, it's not going to be that high-scoring, absolute, all-out banger that people want in a national championship game. It would be a low-scoring, slugfest, hard-nosed basketball game. Two old-school coaches going at it. I would love to see this, but give me Houston. I think they are the best team set up to win this whole entire damn thing.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's a great pick. You know, Colin, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this, but I can't think of a March Madness tournament where I think it's been this top heavy in a long time. Like, I don't think you're going to see, I really don't see a 4 seed making the championship. Like, I don't see them getting past these one seeds. And even the 2 seeds, you know, outside of Michigan State, in my opinion, these 2 seeds are all worthy of 1 spots. Every one of them. Tennessee, St. John's, and Alabama could easily be 1 seeds. And they have a dogfight to even get through the 1 seeds because I think it's that top heavy. I think Duke, Auburn, Florida, and Houston are head and shoulders better than everyone else in this field.
Yeah, it was really hard for me. I'll be honest too. I've done quite a few shows, quite a few brackets, and none look the same, right? I kind of went through this one. I'll be honest, other than the Baylor bullshit I pulled here, I feel really good about this bracket. And the reason is because it wasn't one that I sat here and overthought, right? It was one that I looked at. We did this. We went game by game. I looked down. I looked at the matchup. Hey, go with my gut. Go with my hunch. I feel like my gut leads me to the right spot 9 times out of 10, honestly. Not saying I'm going to go 90% in this bracket, but I feel better with my gut. But to your point as well, of all the brackets I do find myself and kind of here as well, where it's all 1s or 2s for me in the Final Four. It's damn near all 1s and 2s for me in the Elite Eight. This is the most parity I've seen in college basketball as a whole, but also at the same time the most top heavy at the top, but the most wide open at the top. Does any of that make sense? Like, it is, you have 8 teams I think can win a national championship this year. All 8 teams that you just listed. Actually, you listed 7. I would put Texas Tech in there over the Michigan State if we're going to go ones and twos. So that would be my 8 teams I think can win a national championship. And I don't think anybody else can. But I think any of those 8 really could.
Yeah, I can make a realistic argument. Like I could pick a fight with someone and support Florida, Houston, Duke, Auburn to win this thing. And if they chose one of the other teams, there's no argument you could make against me that I would say, yeah, you're wrong with that. I mean, there's 4 teams that I think easily could win this tournament. What that probably means is none of them will.
That's usually how it goes, for sure. But, dude, let's just take in for a moment. The time has come. We are here. This episode is going to come out on Tuesday, 2 days before the game. Well, 2 days before the first round starts, not the play-in games. And tune into the play-in games. We got some good play-in games out there. I know Garrett's not happy about them, and honestly, neither am I. But we got some good games out there to kind of tune into, some decent teams to go watch some college basketball, get the juices flowing again early, and really let you settle in. But Thursday, this all takes off, and I cannot wait. Garrett, I don't want us to announce a time for our next episode yet. I kind of want us to take the weekend in. We'll holler back and forth like we always do while watching these games and kind of take a deep breath on Monday and settle in and see what we think and see what we want to get back in the lab here and drop our next episode. Update your bracket, update my bracket, update if holy shit, Baylor looks incredible so far. Hey, holy shit, Duke's off to the races and they're going to beat every team by 100. Just kind of see what the flow of things are. But man, I've been waiting so long for this. I'm so fired up. This is the best tournament there is in all of sports. I'm happy it's here. What else do you have for us? I have nothing. So I'm going to kick it over to you and let you do your thing.
I have nothing. Take off work, do what you got to do, buy another TV, set them up, and watch as many games as you can Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, man, don't miss a beat. There's going to be upsets out there that we didn't talk about. There's going to be upsets out there that we did talk about. And there's going to be splatterings, and I'm going to watch every single one of them. I can't wait. Garrett, I'm going to be posted up over at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Can't wait for that. Going to be a good time. March Madness is here, everybody. I'm glad for everybody that's followed along with us this far, get to this point. Everybody that's grinded with Foul 'em Hard, everybody that's watched all of our takes, listened to all of our takes, listen to everything we had to say, good, bad, otherwise. I'm glad you guys are here. Make sure you're telling your friends. Tune in. Garrett or I won. Might have a perfect bracket. Feel damn good about it. Actually, no, I don't. I have Baylor. But hey, I'm glad we did this, Garrett. And yeah, man, Thursday it is. I got nothing else. You got nothing else. Let's wrap this damn thing up. That means we're one step closer to March Madness. Let's go, baby. If you can follow us on X at DT_sports_, Instagram Deep Threat Sports with a Z, TikTok Deep Threat Sports Network, Facebook Deep Threat Sports Network, YouTube, Spotify at Deep Threat Sports. Once again, that's Garrett. I'm Collin. This is Deep Threat Sports Network, episode of Foul 'em Hard. March Madness is here. Don't miss a beat. Until next time, peace.